Austin, you and I met this morning. Pam, great. So we'll get started. We'll call the meeting to order. I have 7:01 p.m. The first order of business is a pledge of allegiance. Does anyone want to lead us in that? Morning, Pam, great. So we'll get. All right, so I'll start with I pledge allegiance
to the
flag,
United States,
United States of America,
and to the republic
public for which it stands,
one
one
nation.
nation, under God, indivisible,
Indivisible.
liberty and justice for
justice
Liberty
for all.
and justice for all.
Great, testing everyone back to their high school days. So the first order of business is the approval of the February minutes. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. We'll second it. We'll have any discussion for any items that need to be adjusted or corrected, and then we'll vote on that. So is there a motion on the floor to approve the minutes from the February meeting?
Move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Thanks, MP. Is there a second?
I'll
Second,
second it.
Thanks, Pam. Any discussion or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Okay, Kristen, thanks so much. Minutes are approved.
Yeah.
Any public comments to start the meeting?
There is no one from the public here, Rob.
Okay, great. So I'll just have a couple brief comments here. Some of you may already be aware, whether you have children in school or you work around town, but the buildings do not require masks anymore. One of the items that we have to discuss, to vote on is to meet in person or via Zoom. But certainly so I don't know if there's a comment there. Okay. I'm going to ask that we open up the agenda at some point. MP, I'll defer to you and Austin as to when to do that. And I wanted to, if possible, open the agenda for a 15-minute discussion, no vote, just a discussion on the beach pass and pricing. There's no request to raise pricing. We're going to have an update next month, but if there's any comments or discussion, I think Beach and Rec would want to be able to say that we had some preliminary discussion on that. I'll motion for that. If there's a second, we'll go into a discussion. But if there's no second, or if we don't want to do it, we don't have to. It's just more to hear what people are thinking. I also want to share that ticket sales will go on sale Monday. Thank you, Austin. People have been asking. We're set up to go, so Austin will announce that, and we'll be there. Also a thank you to Austin and to MP. The follow-up to the survey was posted on the website, so that's great. Also, the April Beach and Rec meeting will be the beach staffing plan. You'll have an update at that meeting from Austin as to what those numbers look like and where we stand. So that's not for this meeting. And then we did get July 4th dates. They're not published yet. Austin shared today that it looks like the concert is on the 2nd and that the rain date for that concert would be the 3rd. The parade will be on the 4th, and it looks like fireworks are scheduled for the 3rd. So don't hold me to it. It's not published yet, but it looks like it's full steam ahead, and we're going to be open for a big 4th of July. So those are my comments. I will now move into old business. The item on old business is the sailing program update. So Austin and Vince, I'll let you guys give us an update on that.
Thanks, Rob. So we put out to our email list. So our, 1,000 or so people on our Beach and Rec email list, and got a couple really solid responses to the sailing program. Two very seasoned sailors who've done sailing programs in the past, who have great experience in maintaining and fixing a fleet, instructing young folks on how to sail, all the certifications which are necessary. So over the next 2 weeks, I'll be reviewing those, interviewing those two people. One is less interested than the other, but wants to volunteer and help, which is great. So then once we decide, I think Vince and Rob will sit in on those interviews with me, hopefully, just to get their point of view. And then if we feel like we can move forward, we will.
Austin, is Jack Baumgarten an interested party?
Yes, sir.
Can we afford him?
We'll find out.
Okay. But you're continuing the interviewing process with him?
So he'll be one of the people that will interview, yes. Yeah.
Do you think you should broaden the net, widen the net for other people?
So I think we have these two, and we're getting down to crunch time here, really. So,
Right.
so interviewing them sooner than later is helpful. And if they, fit what we want, and we could come up with a price that fits what the community can handle, I think we should be okay. If
Right.
not, then we go back at it and see who else bites.
Okay, great. You look terrific. You look great. Great resume.
Yes. Yep. For sure. Any questions on that from anybody?
Okay. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Austin. So a new business. So given the change in the mask wearing, we'll take a vote now. I move to establish in-person meetings moving forward effective the month of April. And we would want to second that and then have some discussion and then call a vote on that.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a second by Vince. So we're open to discussion. Anyone have any comments on meeting in person versus Zoom?
Just for
Shane?
clarification, is it either or?
Well, I think what happens if we do have it in person and we decide that we want to have it Zoom as well, I think that requires Austin to then make it a public access meeting via Zoom. Is that not correct, Austin? Isn't there a requirement on your end?
Yeah, if we're gonna go hybrid, we have to broadcast it via Zoom, and I really don't have the technology to do that. So we'd have to set up cameras and microphones and speakers in whatever room we're meeting in, the conference room at the senior center, and we don't have that currently. So it really, and I believe it's April 1st, MP, is that correct? That I believe there's going to be some ruling on all meetings have to be in person anyway. I believe it's April 1st.
If that's the case, it seems like that's a pretty simple, it's a pretty simple answer then.
Yes.
All
So
those in favor? No, I just want to make sure that we have a discussion. I think I saw where
Yeah,
you're
you-
going, Shane. It is convenient to be able to call in if we're traveling. But
Well,
any other-
and I was also thinking more, it didn't have to be hybrid, meaning it might be nice to, it's obviously great to get together, right? And be in person. But I was wondering, like, could we declare some meetings are in person and some meetings are remote? But
I don't
I'm-
think so, Shane. I think
Okay.
when I talked to Lauren, I don't know if that was today or yesterday, but there's going to be a ruling coming down from the state that I believe it's April 1st that all meetings have to be in person. Bruce, am I correct with that? I know you're trying to jump in.
So there's a nuance on that. You're always allowed to make electronic accommodations for members. So if you have it like this and there's no real physical presence, you have to make it available to the public electronically. But if some of you are in person and some of you are there via a telepresence, whether it's Zoom or conference call, that's totally okay. And you don't have to make that portion of the meeting available to the public. So for instance, if Shane was traveling and the rest of you were going to be in the physical, in a room together, as long as you had space for the public to be there with you, you could allow Shane to join telephonically or video wise.
We've
Now,
done
you
that a
still have
bunch
your
of times.
technology issue of being able to display him and him see you. And so there's a whole camera issue there, but you could always pull out the old fashioned speakerphone and do it that way as well.
Yeah, we've actually
Thanks,
done that
Bruce.
before COVID a couple of times, so, okay.
Yeah, so I could definitely, so if that's great. So if that's the case, then if one of you can't make it, I could always set my laptop up in the conference room, and that could be you sitting on the laptop, and that'll be great. Perfect.
Thanks for the clarification, Bruce.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for the question, Shane. Okay, any other questions, discussion, or comments? All right, we'll call the vote. All in favor of meeting in person effective for the April Beach and Rec Commission meeting and moving forward. Can I have an aye, please?
I,
Aye.
Aye, great. Thanks, everyone. Before we get to, why don't we get through the director's report? I guess MP and Austin, if we wanted to open the agenda, did I pass that opportunity? Do we have the ability to have some discussion just on pricing, or?
You can make a motion to open the agenda to add an item to new business.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So I move to open as item C under new business, a 15-minute discussion on beach pass pricing. Is there a second?
Yep.
Is that a yes, MP? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
I,
So that passes. Thank you, guys. We'll keep it to 15 minutes and there's no vote. No, it's just to have a discussion. So moving on to the director's report. Austin, we'll turn it over to you for some updates.
Thanks, Rob. So a lot of really cool, exciting stuff happening right now. So our spring and summer programs are either online or will be going online. Some are on now. So all the summer camps, sports camps, everything we offer are either currently online or will be in the next few weeks. We've got a lot of phone calls for summer camps. I think that's going to be a big, our full day summer escape camp. That's going to be a big deal this year. People are really wanting to lock down what their kids are doing this summer early. So we're getting all that information out to them. We are currently in the midst of boat rack renewals and mooring posts applications and garden plot applications. So if you are renewing your boat rack, you have until March 31st to do so. And if you're renewing your mooring post, well, the mooring post is a lottery, so everybody can get in. Whoever wants to gets into the lottery, and then we spin the lottery on April 8th. And if those lucky folks, are one of the ones that get the lottery, then they can moor their boat at West Wharf. Garden plots too.
Spots do you
So
have for that?
I'm sorry.
How many spots do you have for that, for mooring
The
posts?
mooring, there's 10.
Oh, yeah, there's not that many, right?
So some years we don't have to spin the lottery. Everyone just gets one. So it depends on how many people apply if we have to do that. So garden plots as well. So Bauer, if folks had gardens last year, they're able to renew now. And then once that date passed, then anyone who's new can jump in and rent a plot for the year. They're always sold out, and it's a really cool program up there where, if folks have excess vegetables and stuff that they're growing, they donate it to the Madison Food Pantry. So it's a great community effort up at the gardens there. Some good departmental news is everyone knows we have Matt Quatrano, who's in our office as our program supervisor. Him and his wife welcomed their first child last Friday, which is exciting for them. So he'll be in and out of the office, working remotely in person over the next few weeks. We're all just happy for him and his wife. So as you all know, Academy Community Center was approved at the referendum a few weeks ago. So that will be a big part of our department going forward. So there will be, a building committee, which hopefully one of you will sit on, and excited to move forward with that. And the possibilities of what we can offer in the building are great. And, it'll be a big project. I'm excited to start, a big on-taking like that. I think, having those rooms to have programming for not only the rec department, but the community in general, will be great and only expand our offerings. So looking forward to jumping in head first to that when that kicks off. We have spring sports. We'll be starting soon as the fields are good. Lacrosse is on strong field already. So I met with all of the representatives from the leagues a few weeks ago to talk scheduling. And in the fall, it worked really well where we had a spreadsheet and a Google Doc that I put out to all of the reps from the league. And, if Little League's not using a field one day and travel baseball needs a field, they communicate with each other. They reach out to each other to make sure that, fields that are open can be used by other groups. So it works really well. There's a lot of good people involved, and, they all have the same goal in mind, just getting the kids out and playing and enjoying sports in the spring. So that's something we're looking forward to. We have, as you know, downtown, we have the Big Belly garbage cans, which are the solar powered garbage cans downtown that when they're full or quarter full or half full, it sends a text to the buildings and grounds guys, and they're able to go and deal with the garbage at that point instead of making multiple trips around town to see what garbage cans are full and not. So we're adding 6 of those to the roster this spring. So in the next couple of weeks, they'll be installing those downtown. They're great. They're covered, so animals can't get in them. It compacts the trash, and it really saves a lot of time for them going and checking. They know exactly which ones they have to go to. So the guys appreciate that just as much as the public does.
We purchased those outright, right? Or is it
Yes.
over-
Yep, we own those. Yeah. Yep. Bauer Park update. We have partnered with the Garden Club and a gentleman in town named Louis Strauss, who's a beekeeper. And this spring, summer, we will have beekeeping programs at Bauer Park. So we talked to our insurance agency and figured out what our responsibilities are. So we have a good idea of what we need to do. The Garden Club is putting the bill for the structures and the bees, and it's going to be great to be able to have kids attend Bauer Park and look at what the process is in beekeeping, honey, how to extract honey from the hives, and it'll just be another exciting program that we're able to offer thanks to volunteers in the community. So looking forward to that. Ski bus will be over next week. We had 105 students on ski bus this year, so two full buses. They're there now at Mount Southington. So one more week of that after today. And rec basketball's over as of a couple weeks ago. That was a great season. Matt did a great job running that as really his first big project since joining us. Really no issues at all throughout the entire season. So worked really well. The weather really wasn't an issue. We had to cancel 1 week due to snow. So yeah, we're happy with that. And ski bus, as I said, ski bus, Carrie does a great job running that. She's up there at the mountain with everybody today. Let's see, in terms of, we have no incidents to talk of. So project updates, a couple more program things. So we are receiving applications for summer employment now. So if anyone who's listening to this on YouTube or on the website after, if you're interested in working for the rec department this summer, whether it's gate guard, facility monitor, lifeguard, please fill out the application online, and we'll be doing interviews in the next few weeks for new people. So, and project updates. So the Bauer walkway, I don't know if anyone's been back there. The snow has been kind of rough in that area, but the Bauer walkway is almost complete. The next step is handrails will be going up. So we should have just another short 3 to 4 weeks left on that project. And then the walkway will be fully active and welcoming the public and students who use that frequently. The pavilion at Salt Meadow is up. We're just waiting on the weather to break to pour the floor. So, hopefully when, temperatures stay above freezing at night, they'll be able to get in and pour the floor down for that. And then the pavilion will be good to go. I'm going to share my screen now. Another thing at Salt Meadow. So I believe we had the Mad for Trees people come to this commission, right? We had them a while back.
Yeah.
So we're partnering with Mad for Trees to do tree planting at Salt Meadow. And I'm just going to share my screen here somewhere. Let's see. So we went to ACA, which is the community appearance group, and shared with them, this is the original planting plan for Salt Meadow Park. So just to orient you, Route 1 is up in the top right-hand corner. Then you pull in down through the parking lot where my mouse is now. And these are the islands in the parking lot. Ball fields are over here. Flagpole is like right in this area here. So we met with the Mad for Trees folks and our former tree warden, Bob Cookta, who sits with that group, and developed a new tree planting plan that fits with the Mad for Trees mission, as well as our mission to make the park enjoyable for everybody. And then this is the plan that will be going forward that's been approved by ACA. And then on Thursday of this week, I have planning and zoning, who will hopefully be approving that at their meeting. So these are the islands that you see in the parking area. And this will give you a better idea of the types of trees that'll be going in. So red maples, sweet gum, some oaks, tulip trees, pitch pines, and river birch. So some shade trees and some other kinds of trees. So this will be a project that'll take place on Green Up Cleanup Day. We're trying to coordinate that to happen on the same time as this. And Mad for Trees has partnered with some Boy Scout groups in town to help plant the trees. So it'll be great. So these ones on the right-hand side here, these will be shaded for the dog park when that goes in, which is right in this area here. So Bob Cookta put a lot of thought into where the trees are in relation to the other trees that are friendlier to other trees that won't choke out something that's next to it. So a lot of thought is going into the layout and the type of trees that'll survive and in that harsh kind of salt water area down there. So hopefully, we have green up cleanup is towards the end of April. So as long as planning and zoning goes smoothly Thursday night, this will kick off at that point. Stop sharing. There we go. We also, I will then be going to ACA and planning and zoning again for Salt Meadow for the restroom facility. So that'll happen. We're trying to do one thing at a time, to make sure we do it all correctly and do the proper steps to all these applications that are required. So yeah, a lot of really exciting stuff coming up and ongoing, and be happy to answer any concerns or comments or anything about that.
Yeah, can I ask you a question? So are they gonna redo the parking lot? I mean, resurface the parking lot and the driveway coming in?
So they grade it. We grade it every year to fill in because there's
Okay.
a lot of potholes there
I know.
now. So yeah, they put down, we have a machine that will grade the stone, fill in the holes and make it nice and smooth for the beginning of the year.
But they don't put any treatment on it or any gravel or anything else, they just regrade it.
If we have to add gravel, we will, but
Okay.
I think regrading it first is the first step.
So they'll do that before they plant the trees and the other work?
It doesn't have to happen in unison, but yeah, there'll be people using the park prior to that, so we would want to get that done
Okay.
before then. Yeah, the second the fields are ready to be engaged, they will be used by every sporting group in town, so yeah.
Those trees are essentially a donation, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because they're funded by outside funding, and it doesn't come out of your budget for the.
No, we are not. Yeah, so we're gonna put up a like a hose spigot in the area, so that will, but that's minimal
Mhm.
cost.
That's awesome.
It's gonna look great with the
Yeah.
pavilion, the trees, the restroom.
Yeah.
It's gonna be just beautify the park even more than it is now.
What's the latest on the dog park?
So I'm looking, and I'll take any recommendations. I'm looking for somebody who's a landscape architect or a graphic designer to put a drawing together. So that's what we're working on now, is to find someone to actually do a drawing of the fencing and the trees and where the garbage cans will be, benches, where the dog waste areas will be. So that's the next step. I want a drawing to show people exactly what it looks like. We have it staked out, but even I'm not good at looking at when things are staked out, what it'll really look like. And I want to give people a true vision of, the size and what the black fencing would look like. And, just with the stakes, you can't really, you could see it, but it's not as perfect as I want people to be able to have a vision.
Is that something that Alex or Cheryl from the committee could pull together? Because if I recall, one or the other of them is into something along those lines.
Alex is possibly. Alex does some kind of graphic design. I don't think she's into like landscape graphic design, but I'm sure
Might know some.
she could. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Austin, or?
That's all I have.
One other note that I'll just include under this portion was the concerts will resume at the Beach Hotel, so that doesn't necessarily involve us, but I just want to make sure people were aware of that. I don't know the dates, but I think they've got 12 on the calendar. So item C on the agenda, which was added, was beach pass pricing. This is a 15-minute discussion. So
Can I,
we will-
Rob, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
Vince,
can we
go
go back
ahead.
to projects and ask Austin for an update on the gym floor issue?
Sure. So we had Friday, this past Friday, we had a contractor coming in to do what they thought was appropriate with the floor. They had an idea that they wanted to try first before they tore up the pieces. So we're going to send out a piece of the base floor. So underneath the floor you see now
Right,
is the original floor.
which is, what is it? What is the original floor?
So it's like I've never seen it, Vince, to be honest with you. It was before I was born, I think it was put in. But it's the possibility that there could be some chemicals in that floor that we don't want to release by going in there. So they're going to test the portion, send it to a lab to make sure there's nothing in there. And once that comes back, which should be extremely short time frame, they will then extract the air that's in the bubbles, glue everything back down. It should take just a weekend to do. Now that basketball's over, we can do that for a full weekend. So as soon as that gets back, so Vince, I would say, I don't want to give you a time frame and disappoint you, but probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, it should be completed.
Okay. Yeah, folks are just asking, so time, if I can give them a time.
Yeah. So it was scheduled to happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But we just wanted to make, when they brought that up, I didn't want to risk it being much longer by them discovering something that, we didn't want to do. So just
Thank
to
you.
be safe, we'll take one more step to make it so it's a safe project.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vince, for asking that. So item C that's been added under new business is beach pass pricing. This will be a 15-minute discussion. We'll call it at the end of that. The reason that I wanted to bring it to the group was that every year Beach and Rec has to review the policy, which includes price. And I wanted to make sure that we at least had some discussion on the record on that. That doesn't mean that we can't bring it up or have further discussion, albeit the ticket sales are going on sale Monday. The decision not to raise prices is also a decision to keep prices the same. And I think that's something that that we've done for quite some time. But I did want to open it up and just understand if we had any questions, if we've had any feedback. I will tell you that in the past, we've had discussion around, do we raise them at some point? When do we do that? Do we do a different process? This is not to get into that level of depth. I just want to make sure that we had time just to hear any comments from the commission on the subject. So at that point, I'll open it up for discussion and just see if anyone has any comments or anything they want to share.
Rob, I could share my screen so everybody could see the actual prices from last year.
That would be great. Thank you.
Rob, can someone refresh? Maybe we can go back and just have a discussion and remind everyone what we agreed to last year. And I know we had a pretty lengthy discussion on the topic. At one point, I think we had actually talked about raising stuff. We made a decision to go back down, but I thought we had agreed not to raise the prices with the expectation that we needed to communicate out that the prices would increase, that they hadn't increased in many years, and that because if I remember correctly, last year there was a proposal on the table to increase the prices, and we pulled back from that.
That is correct. We did. And that we needed to inform the community that we haven't taken a price increase in some amount of time. There were some changes based on senior citizen, how we viewed those. There was a blend of senior citizen status, if you will, relative to the town, and how would that impact them if we did take a price increase, or if we aligned. I think to membership within the Senior Center Austin, correct me, recognizes one age, and what we recognize in beach passes is a different age. And if we merged it, there'd be people grandfathered. So there was a lot of discussion. We opted not to raise given COVID, given that we've took on additional expenses. We brought we brought back lifeguards. We have 30 employees that we hire on for the summer. I don't think we voted to confirm that we would raise a price. We just would revisit it the following year. And that's really all we did or didn't do. I don't know if anyone else has any other comments on that they would add to Shane's question. So these are the prices that we're going to move forward with that are on the books. I can't imagine that we would enter into a plan or a discussion to raise price at this point. But I think, we probably need just to understand any level of commitment to further research this throughout the next year.
I would just add, I think we did adjust the non-resident stuff last year, and I think we spent a lot of time on that. I think and maybe that's a question for Austin in terms of any feedback or the success of that. If those changes were, I don't think we heard a lot of negative feedback on that, but so ultimately is the question on the table is, do we want to entertain looking at our resident?
You're right, Shane. So we didn't receive any really negative feedback at all from the non-resident price structure. So we sold about 750 non-resident daily tags last year. Most of those are the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and holiday ones, but there were some weekday ones sprinkled in there, and people did not bat an eye at paying that. There were no complaints at the gates or at the surf club office where they had to be purchased.
So I'll just add my 2 cents. So last year was a great year based upon the surveys that we did. There was no discussion about, someone feeling pinched about the price. I think the pricing should stay the same. I think, as I said, we had a great year. I think the expression is, why fix something that's not, broken? And I think there's really no financial justification at this point to increase prices at all. I think, the residents of Madison, again, deserve a great year, and I think we should just leave it alone. My 2 cents.
Okay. Thank you, Vince. Any other comments?
Just a reminder, when was the last time we adjusted the residential prices?
I want to say 2009, but I would have to double check that.
I think you're right, MP, because it was when I left in 2008,
Yeah.
it was 20 still.
Yeah.
And Austin, just approximate total revenue from beach
So
passes?
we sold, I don't have the revenue in front of me, but we sold a little over 7,000 resident passes, 1,500 daily guest tags. So those are Madison residents purchasing daily tags for their family or friends to come to the park, and 750 non-resident passes. So it was a huge year, probably the most we've ever sold. And I don't see that changing this year. I think it'll be equally as popular.
Mhm. So Austin and I spoke about this today. I mean, so a little over 300,000 that's generated. Those, and for the benefits of those people that may watch this later, that $300,000 doesn't go right to Beach Rec. Beach and Rec has an operating budget that's allotted based on the operating budget for the town. The 300,000 goes to the general fund, which in some way, shape, or form, comes back to not just the Beach and Rec, but to others. Um, you know, to Vince's point, what an amazing resource that we're able to operate and provide, and people are still willing to pay for the use of it, and not to raise the price, is also a decision. And I think that, what Austin has been able to do with the department, the ability to meet the demands, the ability to staff and to use funds, there's certainly value in making sure the community knows that. So that might be one outcome of not making any adjustments to price. If we want to make an adjustment to price in the future, we probably need to think about, a process to do that and time to discuss that.
So
So
Rob,
we're-
is it
Go ahead,
your,
Shane.
so Rob, is it your perspective that the prices should also remain as they are?
I think at this point, I mean, given that we're selling them on Monday, I would not want to rush into a choice. I do think the town needs to, well, I think the commission needs to probably have a discussion and educate not just the town, but the Board of Selectmen that, although we might be able to justify that one should take a price increase because we haven't raised it since 2009. I think Bruce has said in the past, Beach and Rec isn't a profit center. The beach isn't a profit center. It's an asset that we want to invest in. It's a benefit for living in the town, and people do pay taxes already.
Right.
So if we don't raise prices, I think we should put as much emphasis then in making sure people are aware of what it does cost to operate and what we have done. And I think that's based on listening to the public. But at this time, I would not support that we make any changes. Any other comments, guys? We're up on 15 minutes. Okay. Well, thank you for creating the space to have this discussion. I appreciate your comments. And what we'll do is we'll probably want to have a larger, broader discussion just on operations and beach and revenue, and just understand our position on that as a commission, just to make sure that we're giving it the due process. Okay, so with that, we will wrap to public comments or any other comments from the commission.
Joe?
I just have one thing to bring up tonight, and that is that we're still working on the process for the Pollinator Garden. That'll be on the north side of Cone Pond. And what I received in the mail today was a guide that I used many years ago with the Madison Land Trust in purchasing of native plants and shrubs and things of that sort. What we can do with it is it gives us a price range, and we'll be able to use that in whoever we begin to do business with in the future. I don't see any real serious planting happening much before September, if this year at all. We just recently had a walk with a member of the fire department, the assistant chief, Chris Bernier, and we pointed out what we were looking at for a control burn in the area where the garden will eventually be placed. This is to get rid of any of the invasives that might be in the ground there that could be burned, and to clear up any of the other things that are in the area. We're going to stay at least 10 feet away from the pond's edge so that there should be nothing that's in the area that would be creating a problem with the water that's in the pond itself. That's the main things that's happening right now. We still need to get final permission on the control burn. If we do have the control burn, and I think there's a lot of support for it, it will probably take place sometime in March. The latest would be maybe the first week, the very latest, the second week, probably in April. That's about it.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
All right, if there's no other comments from the commission, we'll move to adjourn.
If anybody's around Saturday, the chamber's hosting their Super Bowl soup program downtown. I'll be working that as a member of the chamber. It's always a great event. So if you're in the neighborhood and want to swing by, come say hello and have some soup that's made by, local civic organizations in town and restaurants too. It's fun. Good day.
Nice plug, getting that in there. Awesome. Bruce, I apologize. Thank you for your comments. Anything you want to share or anything that we should be made aware of?
No, Austin already mentioned that you guys are going to be the proud owners of a couple thousand extra square feet. And while we still have some time, I think, trying to imagine how we're going to fill that space is going to be a big task for you folks. So one of the suggestions that I would have is that you go back through your archives and look at all of the groups that have petitioned to use space that we haven't been able to accommodate. And as we're designing out the space, we make every reasonable effort to accommodate their needs in this new building. And last night in the Board of Selectmen meeting, I threw my official suggestion in for the Ryerson property, and that was to convert it into a community garden in the spirit of Bauer Park, knowing that the Bauer Park property is always fully subscribed. I think that would be a terrific low impact use of that old footprint for the residents of North Madison. So.
Great. Excellent. Well, thank you, Bruce. And Austin and I did speak about that today, and there'll be more to come on the Beach and Rec Commission and the Community Center. So great. Thank you. So with that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Shane. Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Vince. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time. And spring's around the corner. So I look forward to seeing you guys soon in April. Take care,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone.